Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Evening. Okay, welcome to the very first Are You Haunted Ghost Cast. Hey! We'll be probably doing these once every couple of weeks, guys. So just to give you a rundown of what's happening, we will be discussing various topics for each ghost cast, with each team member at some point bringing a topic and a story to talk about, and we'll also be reviewing, going back over some of the investigations we've done on series 1 and 2. So get your thinking heads on and get ready to tell us all about your experiences and what was the best parts for you and what you didn't like, etc., etc. But for the meantime, I'm handing it over to the person who thought of Are You Haunted in the first place. Over to Sarah.
Hello. Hi. Right, so
Hi.
This is just a little bit weird. I do need to mention this, Phil, that we used to do a Ghost Hunters podcast. I think it came up about 2014 as a memory on my Facebook.
Wow.
So this
long time ago with the lovely Aaron Weedle.
With the lovely Aaron, yeah. So we thought we'd do a bit of a video cast because times are changing. We're on video now. So yeah, it's a little bit similar to that, but obviously we're going to incorporate Are You Haunted episodes and kind of reflect back on the times that we had whilst doing those investigations. So this time I have picked the wonderful Tutbury Castle, as we had it as our Halloween special, and we were lucky to spend 2 nights there. Now, it was my first visit to Tutbury. I've never been before, but I just want to get kind of your thoughts really now, because it's been a couple of months, hasn't it, since we've done it. How do you feel now when you look back at it?
As you know, I've done Tutbury Castle a number of times, so it's like visiting an old friend. But it was 14 years since I was there last, and nothing's changed. Leslie is as lovely as ever, and so knowledgeable, it's unreal. So if anybody's not actually been, who's watching this, go to Tutbury Castle when you get the chance and meet Leslie. She is so full of historical knowledge about that place. It's unreal. But I loved it. I always loved going to Tutbury Castle. The area called the Dungeon or the Torture Chamber, the Great Hall, and we had a lot of things going off, especially audible noises, bangs and knocks and things like that. So I loved it. But I know other people in the team had even more experiences.
I think for me, Sarah, what I take away from it is the power drain of the equipment.
We've just been upstairs to the Great Hall to get the CCTV cams and the Zoom, and Zoom's turned off.
It was on, it was all set up.
It was on when we started.
Yeah, I watched them set it up.
We haven't checked it throughout the night because it just plays itself, and well, it plays itself. It does it. It's always lasted all night, and I've come to unplug it all and it's all turned off.
Are you kidding me? This is weird. Do you not think this is weird? Everybody, yeah, anybody.
Yeah, I'm a bit fed up with it.
And we recorded 15 minutes before it actually shut down.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Is that all it was?
Crazy.
I think that's the location that I've experienced that battery drain the worst ever at Tutbury Castle.
Yeah.
You get probably the odd one time, but just continuously stuff was just dropping off.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was constant.
What about you, Jane, then? Because like me, it was your first time there, wasn't it?
Fantastic place. Loved it. I really would like to, go 2 or 3 times again, definitely, to do investigations in there. But I did feel as if everything was going on around me, as if I was in a little bubble, like, away from everywhere else. So, Dale just, I was with him when he had his experience, but couldn't see it because the infrared light, the night vision wasn't reaching because it was outdoors. Did hear some taps and bangs and everything, but everybody else seemed to be getting all the activity, and I was quite frustrated, if I'm honest. When you get to that point when you're a bit like, whatever, I got a bit like that, and then that was when we were walking up to the gatehouse, and that happened with Dale, and I was like, I can't see it.
You can't say that, Jane, for crying out loud. You're the one that's had the most experiences, you selfish woman.
Everyone.
Okay.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? Turn the light on. Jane, turn the light on.
No, hang on.
What's the matter?
Just give me a minute.
You seen something?
Yeah,
What was it?
a bloke.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what
No, happened to
I
me.
I've got that used to it. I'm thinking, well, come on then. Come on, where are you? I'm wasting time with them. It's me. But yeah, great.
I have to say that I absolutely, when I'm doing the editing and watching back, and I really enjoyed watching when Ben and Wayne, you took a vigil together, and I love the way that you worked together. You were doing, I think you were hearing noises in one room, and you were kind of swapping between each room. Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean the acoustics in the towers, because obviously the floors have now gone, so it's just open to the elements. And I think what quite bizarre, and you quite got it just slightly on the episode where a flock of geese or something.
Geese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it was complete. To us, we were like thinking, "What's that? What's that?" And then all of a sudden, there must have been the biggest flock of geese went over. It was incredible, wasn't it, Ben?
Mary? That's it's like a duck or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a duck.
Yeah. Alright, okay, so what we can hear now, me and Ben have determined that's like
Flock of geese flying over.
yes, it is geese that in it, yeah. Okay, so that's a flock of geese coming over. Okay, so we'll just let that pass.
You can't actually see them.
Just let that pass.
It was incredible, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
But the acoustics in there, I mean, we tried putting it down to the flag, because that's the only thing what we could put it down to. But the flag were on our right hand side. The noises were coming from the left. We tried going from room to room. We tried separating, and in the end, I think we'd come to some conclusion that okay, it could be the flag, and we'd have to leave it there.
I think the interesting thing is it sounded like footsteps, a lot of it, and what was actually above us was a floor. Like there was supposed to be a floor there back in the day. So if it's obviously might have been people walking back and forth, which we heard.
Yeah.
I think there was one point as well, Ben, when I think we were all over at the gatehouse. It was on the second night, and you kind of went and separated from everybody else and stood in the main sort of grounds courtyard area. Can you remember doing that?
Yeah. You're all kind of stood there trying to figure out what Dale's seen and where he's all seen it, and I'm thinking that most of the time when stuff happens to me, I'm by myself, because it's like you're not like listening to them talking. You can kind of just hear everything a lot, quite like you can hear everything that's going on if there's any sounds, and you're more aware. And I kind of separated myself and put myself in a place where I could see, like, I could see the torture chamber on my left, I could see the place where the flag is in front of me, and I could see like the mound on my right, so I could see everything all from where I stood. And I was just hoping to catch something like running along the grounds, because I know there's been reports of a ghost running across the grounds, and I was hoping to see something.
Yeah, Mary Queen of Scots has been seen moving rapidly across the grass.
Yeah.
So you took on a bit of a vantage point where you could get everything really, if it did happen. And just mentioned there being on your own, and I know that I was going to ask you, Wayne, at one point you were left in the torture chamber, or what's known as the torture chamber, on your own, because Anita and Jane were in there with you previously, but they left you alone. Did you find that
didn't leave me, they abandoned me?
from a psychological point of view, then being on your own, did you feel a lot different?
Totally, absolutely, totally. I think when you with the competition, the lovely Anita with us, is you're busy, like looking after somebody or talking to somebody or being with somebody. And then I think Anita took the torch, and so all I had was the viewfinder, view screen through the camera. And then you sat there and then you actually think to yourself, actually, I'm on my own. There's no way I'm going to run successfully and make it to the door if something really, it kicked off. And yeah, it does mess with your head. And then I started hearing scuffling noises, which then I'm thinking, is that going to be rats or something like that, which is one of my biggest phobias. And I'm thinking, how am I going to handle this if something really does come in front of me? And then it starts to play a little mind games with you.
And you tripped up the steps, didn't you?
Yeah. Not like you at all, mate. Not like you at all.
It's the first time I've ever done anything like that. 'Cause I'm usually quite good at steps.
Oh yeah.
But did you notice when the camera panned down, there was actually like an hole missing out of the step? I swear blind, I must have stood on that, and there was actually no step there. And it was Dale's fault, because he was calling me on the walkie, and I could see it, and I'm thinking, I like to ignore it and just stay where I am, because I'm quite safe where I am. I thought, start moving about, then this is where I'm going to fall over.
Did you notice that, Wayne, did you notice that Phil left that in the episode as well?
Yeah.
That's me just fell down the top step. Tripped over the top step there. Which is not the first time I've fallen over steps.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Just so everybody can see you fall over.
Yeah.
That's the benefits of editing it, that.
And I know you were saying, Ben, that you feel, because you often have a bit of a wander off by yourself, don't you? You like going alone, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I tend to find that when I go like on lone vigils by myself, it tends to be scarier, and that's like the reason that you go, isn't it? You want to be scared. You want something to come out and make you scream. But so that's what I do. It's a bit like sadistic in a way, I think. But I go out and I'm like, I want to sit in a place and I want to just listen out for anything that will come out and scare me, and I want something to happen. And I feel like sometimes if you're with someone else, it could either be like intimidating to a ghost, or you don't, like you're not going to be focusing as much because you're going to be having a conversation and trying to figure some stuff out. And I just prefer to go on some lone vigil sometimes, see if anything happens.
Well, I think maybe for season 3 we'll look at doing a little bit more of that, if you guys are up for it, and testing the fears going alone a little bit,
Yeah.
If anybody's watching, if you think that that's a good idea, then you can let us know in the comments. Maybe we can do a few more lone vigils, obviously within reason and health and safety and all of that measures in place.
Yes, health and safety is paramount.
Absolutely, Dale. Absolutely. I didn't want you sort of tripping me up on that. So we can't go and talk about Tutbury without mentioning what happened to you then, Dale. So now you've had a little bit of time to think, reflect. How do you feel about it now?
Okay. If there are any spirits here, is someone outside? Is someone else in the grounds? Pass me the radio.
It's in my pocket.
Is someone else in the grounds outside?
Shouldn't be, it's locked.
Say again, Dale.
Is anybody else outside with myself and Jane?
No, we're all inside.
Oh, I've just seen a shadow.
Well, as both yourself and Jane have said, it's your first time there. It was my first time there, and what a phenomenal place. What a beautiful location, beautiful building. And what happened to me will stay with me forever. I still play it over and over again in my mind, trying to fathom it out as to what I saw. The figure going from right to left across the grass. It must have been for 5, maybe 10 seconds that I saw it. It wasn't just a flash. I saw it striding across. That's what was so surreal. And for people that have watched the episode, it looks as though I'm trying to replay it back to myself, and it took me so long to react to it because I couldn't believe what I'd seen.
I think it's hard, isn't it? I do remember like years and years ago when I've seen something, and still even now, but I, like you say, I remember the next day, it was like, because I'm so logically minded and you try and rationalise everything, it's difficult for you to actually accept it yourself that you've seen something, isn't it? So it's almost like you have to convince yourself before you go and think, well, I've got to convince other people now that this is what I've seen. But I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm supposing that Jane, you'll feel the same about it as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And you were brought to tears.
Yeah, I was, and that's not me. Yes, I'm an emotional person. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not one to cry spontaneously at seen something. So for me to react like that,
Ben pulling a face.
no, for me to react like that was beyond my control. I couldn't control my emotions.
It
was pure shock.
And now, the news. And the news in this Ghostcast features a TikTok video which has gone absolutely through the roof. It's gone viral. It has nearly 500,000 likes and over 11,000 comments. And it's a bit of a spooky one. Over to Sarah.
Yeah, well, we share a lot of news stories on social media, on the Are You Haunted social media. So I've picked one from December that came out. It was around the 10th of December that I first spotted this. It's a guy on TikTok called Dominic Matigian. Now, I do hope that I've said his name right.
Maybe.
I apologise if not. So we're going to play the clip and then we'll see what you think.
I'm literally home alone. Listen to how loud and aggressive it is. That's why we're moving. Okay, so I'm literally home alone. Listen to how loud and aggressive it is. Why we're moving.
Okay, so the caption on the video is "This is why we're moving." So apparently, because of this activity that Dominic's experiencing at home, they're looking to actually move. So this is one of the videos that he's uploaded, and it basically what it's showing is, or what appears to be, the door, something is bang, 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 bang against the door. Now, I've watched the video and I've got my own thoughts on it, but what do you guys think?
Well, I've looked at it. To me, personally, I think it's air pressure. As he opens the door, it stops me. Well, first of all, I'd say the banging is so regular. It's in a perfect
rhythmical
time. Yeah. It's almost a metronome. As soon as he opens the door, the first thing I noticed before anything else was the ceiling fan at the other end of the corridor. That, to me, it's got to be some sort of air pressure from that, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Now, it's phenomenal. It's surreal how it's doing it, because.
Would you really say it's phenomenal?
No. In terms of the banging of the door, it's a massive bang. It's not just a slight rattle. It's a massive bang on this door. So from that point of view, if it's just a ceiling fan doing it, it's making a bloody good job of it. That's what I'm saying.
It'd be annoying if you're trying to get to sleep.
Yes. No, so I don't think it's paranormal. Yes, it's eerie, but I think it's just air pressure from the ceiling fan.
But if it's that consistent from a fan, surely you would have sorted it by now.
Yeah, turn the fan off.
Yeah, you'd stop using the fan, or you'd get someone in to fix it.
Yeah.
Or you could record it and say it's a ghost and then go viral on TikTok.
I totally agree with Ben, Sarah. Two things is, I also think it's the fan, because the rhythm of the fan would be exactly what it's banging on there.
Yeah.
But if we were there, or we could ask this guy, turn off the fan, then close the door and let's see that. That would be one thing. Or we don't have enough evidence to know that hasn't done it previously, or it hasn't done it before, or it's only just done it that particular time. So for me, when you see the door and the rhythm of the fan is not exactly what it's banging at. So it's the fan for me.
You can still hear the fan when he goes out onto the landing. It's really loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's pulling the door. If you've got a latch and it's not quite snug fit with the keep out there, you will get that. You hear it in your own house when you've got a window open. You hear the doors banging, and it's the fan pulling it every single time. And I bet if you went out there, turn that fan off, close that door, it'd stop.
Well, anybody who wants to look at the video, especially those who are into paranormal investigations and things, there's a few things that they would look at and automatically kind of be suspicious. And I'm not saying that it's a made-up video by any stretch of the imagination. It might be, a genuine ghost for all I know. But you mentioned the fan, and what people will notice is when he opens the door, you can't see what's below his video line where he's looking, and you can't see what's to the right. Now, people will automatically say, well, there's probably somebody banging on the door, bump, 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 and as he's opened the door, they're either below the eye line of the camera so you can't see them, or they've just leaned around, banged on the door, and then come out video shot as he opens the door to the right. But that's what people will be saying.
Yeah.
I agree with Phil about saying that we haven't got enough view of it. I don't think anybody was on the other side of the door banging it. I think it probably is the fan. However, the fan seems quite a distance away, and to get to get an air pressure blowing like that, that's going to be one heck of a strong fan. That would be my only thought on that. But I can't tell the perspective of physically how long that corridor is, because you just get that fleeting glance of it.
Well, I'm the only one here that actually uses TikTok, and I understand it better than all of you, obviously. And what you can do on TikTok is you can record the video, and then you can record audio separate. So quite easily, he could have just got a separate audio of him just bashing his desk over and over and over.
Or banging even on the door.
I think that's easily what he could have done. Just done that. Because in the video, he could have just acted out. He said, oh, what's an idea? I could have the sound of someone banging on the door. I don't think we've ever had anything ever where something's banged on the door that consistently and that heavily. And then for him to then walk up to it smiling, saying, look, there's nothing here. Haha.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you said, Wayne. For me, it is way too calm. And then he said, and this is why we're moving. But, well, if you're moving, you don't seem that bothered by it, really. You don't seem very frightened by it.
On the video, can't you see the door moving slightly, the handle?
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can.
Can you, Jane? I didn't notice that you can.
I've watched it a couple of times. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought you could. Maybe I'm just over analysing it.
No, I don't know.
Maybe because you're old.
Maybe that as well. I'm not leaving.
Did you have your glasses on?
Yes, I can't even see my phone without it.
Were you doing this when you were watching it?
Just bear with me. I'm just going to have another look.
Watch it.
Just going to have a little nana nap.
Have a rest and unfurl.
So, in your own opinions, do you think it is paranormal or not? Do we give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
My opinion, no.
I'm going to have to give it a thumbs down. If I can find my thumb. There we go.
Okay.
Not enough for me, so it's a thumbs down.
Okay.
Okay, so now we come to the section where we discuss a topic. And the topic this time was chosen by the lovely Sarah. So it's over to Sarah.
So the topic is, can animals see ghosts? Has anybody ever had a pet or been around an animal that they believe has been acting strangely that you could put down to something a bit spooky?
Yes.
We've got a daft pug, but I think it's because he's mental.
My old terrier used to, not all the time, but go to one of the corners of my living room and stare up near the ceiling and just sit staring at it and then bark at it slightly for no reason. There's nothing in that area that I've ever seen, so I don't know what that used to be. But it used to freak me out. It used to give me goosebumps when he did it.
Well, it can't be paranormal if you haven't seen it, Jane. But no, I've not had a pet that does that, but you read it all the time. The dog sits at the bottom of the stairs looking up the stairs and barking and growling, or it's heckles or whatever. So, and I think, I think animals have got a sixth sense. I think, they can see something.
I certainly had it where we've got, amongst our menagerie, we've got a chihuahua called Georgie, and he was sat here in this room that I'm in at the moment, and he was literally staring at the door and he was growling. ground, and there was nothing there. In fact, I even recorded him doing it. He was doing it for a good 5 minutes or so. Absolutely nothing, and then he just stopped and kind of curled and went to sleep, and then that was the end of it. But there's been a few occasions where we've had a few. The animals have acted quite strange here. They do say, and certainly we do know that dogs can hear a lot better than us.
Yeah.
Certainly when, like, if Phil's been out, and I'll know he's back just because the dogs are reacting.
Yeah.
Before I've heard that he's back, because they can hear him a lot better than I can.
Well, they've got a better sense of smell. They've got better hearing. Surely that says something. They've got a better sense of paranormal, let's say.
I think cats do it a lot as well. I remember times where cats have kind of just stopped and just stared into blank space for a good few minutes, like they're watching something, and then they'll kind of snap back into reality. And I don't know if that could be them staring at maybe a spirit or something, but it kind of spooks you out because they seem normal, and then suddenly it's just, and it's like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
That was a great impression, Ben. That.
They really capture you.
Our little dog does it on the bed as well. I mean, it looks towards the wardrobe. It'll sometimes just sit up and stare to the wardrobe to the point where we'll turn the light on and thinking, what are you looking at? And you're thinking, where you're saying, do they hear? Is it more seeing or sensing? It's how they perceive senses, isn't it? So are they seeing or sensing? Because they're using, unlike, we do use our eyes and ears, but they're using all their senses, smell and everything, and putting a picture together. So is it something they're using, how they can combine their senses to, as we would call, see?
Because they've got different eyes to us as well. Because in your eyes you've got rods and cones, and I'm not sure which way around, but I think either rods or cones are in the middle, and then the other ones are around the outside. And that's why sometimes you see things in the outside of your eye rather than when you look at it you can't see anything, so you see things in the corner of your eye. But with different animals they might have it differently, where they can literally just stare at the thing that we can't see.
That's interesting. Quite deep as well, Ben.
Yeah, check him out. I think it's a little bit like, with children, where young children apparently can see spirit. Do you think it's anything to do with the fact that older humans have had opinions imprinted of them, but yet children and animals are innocent to everything, so they only see what they're actually seeing, hearing, sensing for real. They've not got an opinion about it. It's just fact.
Yeah, I've not noticed any of our cats do it, but certainly in the past where I've had cats, because we've had cats growing up all our lives at home, and they're the ones that tend to, for me, to notice things more. So it might very well be that they can sense or see something. It's like that. Somebody said to me, horses can see wind.
Oh, wow.
Which is a bit weird. So, I don't know. Maybe it's true.
What about using animals then on investigations? We know, for instance, that we've got Rob and Anne-Marie at Veritas, and they often take their dog, Dory, along on their events. Now, Dory, I don't know how old she is, but she seems quite oblivious to anything, really, other than the fact that she gets fussed now and again and the odd treat.
I think she was God's dog. That's how old she is.
She's not old. She's only young.
Is
she's
she?
Not?
Yes,
she's old.
Young. She's not old.
Jeez, how old is she?
She's only young. You'll have to ask Rob, but I promise you she's not old.
I thought she was only young, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I thought she was older.
No.
She just acts that she's so placid, and I'm just thinking with our dogs, they're just so giddy all the time.
Do you know how we can see ghosts of people? Do you reckon that pets can see the ghosts of themselves? Because we don't see ghosts of dogs, we see ghosts of people. So will a dog see a ghost of a dog rather than a ghost of a person?
Some people have seen ghosts of animals, though, haven't they? So, but that's quite an interesting question. So basically, you think that maybe that dogs could only see other dogs?
Maybe.
It's logic.
Never thought of that.
Well, that's the end of the first Eye Haunted Ghost Cast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got anything to say, please do leave us a comment. We'd love to read them. And the next person who is bringing the topics for us to discuss and talk about is Wayne. We'll see you on the next one.